another good game of cricket.
You're still working through some technical difficulties. 78 for 7 is the score, now 79 inside the 14th over. They need 52 runs, and that asking rate, because of the wickets falling, has continued to rise. This is what pressure does in T20 cricket. They've bowled well, the Blasters. The bowling has always been good throughout the tournament. Imagine if they had Dennis Boulay, the left arm wrist spinner, who's injured. I think he would have added a lot.
I think he would. I think he'd be given another massive dimension. This young man has bowled incredibly well. After going for 10 off his first over, he's gone for 14 off of 3.2 now. He's bowled ridiculously well in this spell and brought his team right back into this game and given them a huge opportunity to win it.
You reckon he could be a contender for most wickets come the end of the tournament? I mean, 3 in the last game, 3 again tonight.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a spinner. It's probably going to be highest wicket taker. I'd probably say he's trying to contend with Hayden Walsh. I mean, Hayden got 5 last night and by all accounts bowled ridiculously well. Well, that's a great bit of fielding. That looked very tight there. Another sloppy bit of running. We've seen that again today. Batters just wanting to place the bat into the crease. I mean, we saw it twice in the first game. We saw it now. The guys just don't want to run the bat in. But yeah, I would say that certainly this young man looks a real talent, as well as Micah McKenzie. I've been very impressed when I watched Micah McKenzie as well. He looks a real wicket-taking threat. Hopefully Mikel Gavaya as well. Hopefully he's going to be up there.
It should just be a single, and you can just tell from the body language of the Blasters that they're up for this challenge. I think they know the importance of this game. Many would have thought, yeah, their tournament is over, but all of a sudden, you win this, you're right there with all the other teams, and can easily find yourself in the top 4 come the end of the... And Michael, just on your experience, how much have you enjoyed, being in the thick of things for your Lions side? They really rely on you as not only someone to put your hand up with the bat and ball, but as a leader as well. I see you very animated in discussions with Nino Henry. How much have you enjoyed being in this team?
Yeah, it's probably more for me just trying to give my experiences for the wind, for all sorts, just speaking to Nino about certain bowlers bowling certain ends, just trying to keep things fresh. I know it's a different voice in a dressing room, trying not to be overpowering as well, and just obviously give an opinion here and there if he wants it. But yeah, I mean, look, Liberta, I found a real challenge actually, because their opening bowlers bowled particularly well. Didn't give us too many options really. That was probably the game I found the toughest with the bat so far. You've got to question that bit of batting there, Nikhil. Looking to hit it into the wind again, trying to take on the long boundary into the wind against the off spinner here. I just can't see that being the way that they're gonna get their boundaries. If they're gonna get their boundaries, they need to be really smart here. But this could be a nice little matchup here for the off spinner if he gets this right.
Yeah, Payne can strike it a long way. I've seen him in the last couple of years of this tournament hit some big sixes. So this could be a perfect little battle unfolding. Starts with a wide. Morton Brown. I think you guys, from the teams I've seen playing the Black Hawks, you guys had an optimal opportunity. 24 for 2 in 4 overs to remove the dangerous slug on Kareem Magor. But I think that team, just showing you how deep they are with Andre Bailey coming in, getting a 40-odd. He'll be in action later tonight. And they're going to get runs as well. You don't see Richard Barrington concede too many overthrows.
No, looking for the run out there, it's the right option, I think. He needed a bit of help from his long on fielder there. His long on fielder a little bit sloppy to get off the line. It's what we've noticed a few times with some teams. They're just a little bit reactive rather than proactive, getting off the boundary and trying to help out. But yeah, certainly with us against the Liberta, we felt that we were probably very, very comfortable walking off. We needed 140. We knew it was obviously going to be tricky against the spin, but going in at 140, we're thinking we're ahead of the game.
Back foot and finger up. Went a long way back. I wonder if height was the question.
I wonder about pitching in line there from over the wicket again. That length we spoke about, can that be pitching outside the line? Is that another huge moment in this game? The only questions we've got, is it a little bit high? Is it pitching in line? Well, the decision's out at the end of the day and that can't be overturned now. He seems to be The non-striker doesn't seem to be too happy with the bowler there. There seems to be a few little words there between the non-striker there and the bowler, I think. But could these decisions come back to have cost the Pythons?
Yeah, the Matthew Ford one I know they won't be happy with. Payne is reluctant to walk off the field. Did it pitch in line? Those are all questions. Payne is a tall man as well.
But I tell you who won't be worried about that right now is the Bowling Blasters as they look to close out this game. They're now 86 for 8 with 5 overs to go. That run rate 2 overs ago was at 6s, Nikhil, and now it's at 8.4. They have let this game slip out of their hands.
Yeah, it does look like this could be done and dusted from a Python's perspective, because with the wicket now, the ask here is touching 8.5. It's not impossible by any means. I think you bat this, but the problem, you back yourself to get it, but the problem is 8 wickets down. Looks unlikely.
Well, I reckon all it could take is a little bit of smart cricket. You've still got a strong breeze out there. If they're playing smart cricket and they take on the breeze, this game's still in the balance. It's only 8 and over. All it takes is just take maybe 1, maybe 2 overs just to give yourself a chance, and then it's go time.
I think these small things that you're pointing out, Michael, is where I think the Scotland players can be a big influence on this tournament. The overthrows that we saw earlier, and someone just not, a simple thing like not backing up. You guys bring that professionalism, that intensity that will not be ingrained or integrated into the local club level. That's where I think I'm excited to see how younger players on your team, like Michael Palmer, develop, spending time at the crease with you and learning about the game from a different perspective.
Yeah, certainly I've been very impressed with Michael, the way he bowls, the way he bats. He looks like he's going to be a real prospect for certainly West Indian cricket. If he carry on the path he's on and develop, he batted 10 the first game, he's come in now and batted it and opened the batting and won us the game today. I mean, he's a fantastic prospect, and with the ball getting 2 for 20, the kid's good. He's a really good future.
Ends with the dots. Can the Pythons pull this off? It's going to be tough. Melinda Farrell and Jack Meacher to take you through the next 30 deliveries.
What a time to come back on. This is going to be so tight. All Saints Pythons currently at 86 for 8 with 5 overs remaining.
Yes, it's all gone a little bit wrong for the Pythons as they attempted to chase this down. And we did say we've seen scores of in the 120s defended in this tournament so far, particularly early on, I think even the first 2 games. So
yeah, it's interesting to know what the Bowling Blasters would be thinking about when they finished on 130 odd. What would they have been thinking coming off the field? Would they have been happy with that? And it seems like they've been really confident if they take a few wickets early doors that they can defend this total. And it looks like at the minute the balance has really swung into their hands, and it looks like it's theirs to win at the minute.
it's a big strike, but it's just going to get the single. So Kerry Mentor it is, bowling his 3rd over, 2 wickets so far.
Yeah, run rate required over 9s now, so it's swung incredibly into the Bowling Blasters' hands here. It was at 6s, should have looked pretty simple just to tick through to get All Saints Pythons across the line, but they've lost some massive wickets. Currently 8 down and still require 9 and over.
Yeah, it's at that time when you start looking at balls and runs, 44 off 29. There's been a lot of tinkering throughout this game. Actual rate of bowling overs as we see Kerry Mentor pull up again. We've seen this happen a lot. We've seen some unusual situations where the bowler has pulled up and not been able to finish his over and then ended up keeping.
Just a single there, but I think that tinkering and the adjustments to the field and the batters retaking guards, I think that just shows how much this game means to these players. It's a massive moment, a massive chance for Bowden Blasters to get another win on the board, be their second of the tournament. And all Saints Pythons, if they want an easy run into those semi-final spots, they've got to win this and they've got to dig deep.
We've got such a bunching of teams at the moment. It's actually going to make the next few days incredibly exciting. See how they face up. So that one's definitely going to be called a leg side wide, so just a bit of a reprieve there. But with only one team, the Black Hawks having won all three of their games, one team, the Golden Eagles, having lost all their games so far, losing earlier today, are down on one knee, trying to hit into the wind, or with the wind, but to no avail. So no wickets to play with, still quite a few runs to get. They basically need someone with a clear head now and a very clear plan of how they're going to go about this, where they're going to find those runs, but find them safely. Down on one knee again. He got hold of it. It was the shot that Marcellin had looked to play in the first instance on the ball before, but doesn't really get enough on it. There is protection down there in the deep mid-wicket and at long on. So
yeah, I think we can see the slight bit of game plan there. Really trying to make use of the wind that we've been speaking about all day and using that as an opportunity to hit with the wind.
That one's just pushed down towards third.
With the left-hander and right-hander on strike here, they could even look for one over the left-hander to be able to go into the wind and the right-hander to be able to have their chance at the other end to hit into the wind. So, as we say today, it's playing a huge part in the ball and how it's moving throughout the air. So, let's see if they keep trying to mix up the strike.
Extra man out on the leg side, and he's gone straight up. He's gone to turn that ball down the leg side. It's gone in the air, somehow manages to fall safely.
Yeah, this is going to get really tight here. As much as it gets towards the end of the game, all players kind of not scrabbling around, but really trying their best to field the ball as quickly as possible, trying for the direct hits. As well as the batters even looking for those quick, sneaky second runs and the first run as well. This is going to be tight.
Could be one thing that will change the equation, though, obviously, is if they take another wicket. So popping the ball up like that, getting a top edge, very risky stuff. So now, of course, changing over with this right-hand, left-hand combination, the field is now back on the side where the players will be hitting into the wind. Marcellin will be hitting into the wind. Morton Brown.
It's a great start to the over, that.
Yes. He finishes his over. So 2 for 10 off 3 was from Morton Brown. It's a brilliant spell. I mean, he's tried to turn that one fine down the leg side. It's gone fine down towards short third instead.
It's going to take some really smart batting here, I think. Still requiring plenty of runs to get them home. It's going to just mean that the two batters need to stay in here, build a partnership as much as possible, and only take on those big shots when the ball allows. Still need 38 off 22 here.
Oh, and he's gone for the big shot, and he's gone back to the dugout as well on his way. Charanlal Ramjon. He was aiming to hit with the assistance of the wind, but in the end, Morton Brown straight through him. That is his third wicket as he bowls out his spell. Outstanding stuff from Morton Brown. And it's all now looking very precarious for the All Saints Pythons. Just a 1 wicket in hand as the 9th wicket falls for 93. Still 3.5 overs remaining.
What a moment that is. Brown has bowled an incredible spell. That's 3 wickets for him now. And I think the main thing to think about is he's bowling stump to stump. And if you miss, you're going to hit. So he's bowled really well here and just keeping it on the stumps and not allowing the batters any chance to... If they know that if they miss it, they're gone. So really keeping that line tight and, restricting the batters and brought along a wicket. So now at 93 for 9, it's 1 wicket remaining. It's not looking good for the Pythons.
No, it certainly isn't. And Shamar Pereira is the last man in for the Pythons. Going to the crease with an almighty job to do. 3 balls remaining in the 17th over. So it's a job for the tail-enders. Again, just a pause for bringing up backward point. Tried to turn it on the side, wandered out of his crease, and big appeal there from the keeper. It looks like he was back. He was sort of looking around. I don't think he knew where the ball was or what was happening.
The Blasters doing anything they can to take that final wicket. They really do want this win.
38 needed off 20. That's wide of off stump, and well, this time the keeper takes the stump clean out of the turf.
It's quick work again. He's anything going here. That batter now needs to make sure he stays in his crease. Otherwise, he's going to be gone, and the game will be over.
That's good pressure applied by the wicket-keeper. Just got a stray stump, of course, the wicket-keeper who was bowling earlier. And now we're just going to have a little mid-pitch.
Yeah, again, working out what their game plan is here is going to be tricky. I'm not sure what they're saying in the middle there to make sure this is going to go all the way. Just a dot ball again.
And also the frustration you can see there from Pereira, really annoyed with himself for not being able to get the ball away or into any vacant area. With 17 overs gone, 38 runs needed, and just 1 wicket in hand.
Yeah, what a spell there from Morton Brown. 4 overs, 1 maiden, 10 runs for 3 wickets, going at 2.5 and over. That's a game-changing spell, I think.
We've seen a few good spells today. Kerry
Mentor's last over here. Straight up, but it's looking like it's running away, and it has gone for 4. Some vital runs here from the final batsman.
Well, that is it too little, too late, though? They're going to need a few more of those if they're going to enhance what's up. .34 needed, 17 balls remaining, so another flurry of boundaries might make it interesting.
He's gone big. That is absolutely massive. That is onto the bank, 6 runs.
Well, that is an INET maximum, and we just said a flurry of boundaries might make it interesting. Well, a 4 followed by a 6. And hello. So 28 now required of 16. And all of a sudden, with Marcellin moving on to 19 off 19, if he can keep this going, we could be in for quite a finish.
We really could. That is a big shot right onto the bank over there.
seen some massive sixes hit today.
Still requiring over 10 and over, so he's definitely going to have a few more of those to get close. The bowler's having a change of plan and coming around the wicket. A couple more adjustments to the field. Keeper getting involved as well, just to make sure that everything is going to plan for the Bowling Blasters. And as we see, square leg going back to the boundary and cover coming up.
A quick single there. I mean, even if they could get it to under 20 for the last over, then you just never know.
There's always a chance. There's always a chance. I think they might even be aiming for if you get down to 15, there's a real chance, especially with Marcelin on strike. See if he can keep his partner with him, with Pereira. Just kind of stay with his partner to get through to the end. Could be a massive innings here.
Well, it's just keeping his cool, Pereira, at this point in time. He's yet to score. He got really frustrated when he was trying to get off the mark when he first came to the crease. But Marcelin looks like he's prepared to go big. And he looks like the man most likely to do it. He just needs a partner out there with him at the end.
I'd love to know the conversations going on right now between the fielders. There's so much movement going on in all departments of the pitch. Captain, keeper, bowler, all getting involved, just sorting out the field.
Yeah, well, they've just moved a fielder to deep square leg, who was a bit further around towards deep mid-wicket before, so he's moved squarer. And in fact, he's hit it just down towards that very fielder who'd moved around to deep square leg.
It'll be interesting to see what Marcelin does here with 2 balls remaining in the over, just to see if he wants to keep hold of the strike. Clearly the more in batter at the moment, so to see what he does here. It's very interesting, all the mind games that goes on in this game.
Can't afford to leave runs in the shed though now. Comes down the wicket, pounds that one down towards deep mid-wicket, well stopped on the boundary. There were 2 fielders down there. So they'll get 2 runs and Marcelin retains the strike, which is, I guess, the best outcome other than the ball clearing or reaching the boundary.
Absolutely, that's good work there. That almost split the 2 fielders, but worked together to get them across.
And that's just played dinkily down behind a fielder at backward point. So just sneak a run in there. Another to the total. So 109 now of 18 overs. 2 overs remaining. It's just made things just a little bit more interesting at the end. It's veered back and forwards, this game, quite a bit today. To see the Blackhawks gathering for their match tonight. So another big match coming up after this, a triple header today. Big day in the cool and smooth T20 explosion. Lots of entertainment. Fans trickling in here in the evening after work.
Yeah, we go into these final 2 overs with exactly 11 runs and over required. And as we spoke earlier about, if they can get this down to 15 and have Marcelin on strike for that last over, who knows what can happen? Anything can happen. We've seen so many different things going on in this game already. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have a twist right at the end.
We've seen things we've never seen before. And a lot of chatting going on between the 2 remaining batters. Just trying to make sure that they're in sync. And that one is going to give them an extra run and just bring the run required down to 22. Still off 12 balls, so that helps.
Yeah, really not what you want to be doing there as a bowler in these last moments. Bowling a wide, you want to keep on the stumps. Don't give any freebies away at this crucial moment of the game.
I'm just looking at the time as well, seeing the Blackhawks here. This game has gone over quite a bit time-wise with all the delays and the interruptions. It seems like a lot's going on in between every single ball. So,
yeah, conversations almost every ball here, just making sure that the plan is aligned and taking a lot of time doing it, slowing the game right down. It's been a really quite slow match today. It feels like just every ball has taken some real consideration, which is not a bad thing, I guess, but it has slowed the game right down.
No, a quick game's a good game in my books. Tame Tong.
Again, bowling a wide.
Another wide. So back-to-back wides, and they have to be really careful here, the Pythons. They've got themselves in this good position, a great position, only needing one, but bowling two wides in to start off the penultimate over is not what you need from your death bowler. I'm surprised actually the umpires haven't told them to get on with it a bit more. Oh, a bit of a flash at that one and straight through. So Tong will be feeling a little bit better about that one. First legal delivery of the over, but the third bowled altogether.
Yeah, that came through quite nicely, that. Didn't do much moving off the surface, but definitely had a bit of carry. Still 20 required off these last 11 balls.
Oh, and another little flirt with that one, and very, very frustrated with himself, Pereira, and he's done that a few times. He's walked away, and you've seen his frustration. He has to be really careful here that he doesn't just lose his cool. Just takes a breath, calm down. Maybe that's part of the reason of all these little meetings in the middle. Marcellin just telling him, just keep it cool, just keep it cool. Try and get bat on ball. And he does get bat on ball, but it's straight to the fielder. Richie Berrington with a direct hit.
It's all going on here. It really is. You cannot be out of your crease by a centimetre because today these guys have been on fire, just having a shot at the stumps and hitting quite a few times. But yeah, Pereira finally getting back on ball, but still 1 off 7. But he does, like you say, really need to keep his cool. Marcellin just needs to have a word and just to say to him, look, it's all right, just keep yourself in and keep a cool head.
So Pereira still not able to get off strike.
And
that time he will. That time he will. And it's a good work in the outfield to save that, but that is a single to bring Marcellin on strike. He only has 2 balls remaining in this over. So how he plays it now is going to be very interesting because he will want the strike for the final over. 8 balls remaining. They still need 19 runs. So where does he go? Does he go big? Does he try and retain strike for the next ball and then hit a single off the last?
Yeah, it's a real tricky one. That would have been really handy there just to go for 4. The fielder did really well out there, and that could be really vital in the last over, saving 4 runs. It would have been super handy for Pereira just to get 4 more to his name. More conversations going on between captain and bowler, working out what to do with the field. But like you say, I'm surprised the umpire's not just having a word and saying, come on lads, let's
get on with it.
Let's get cracking.
And now we've got the 2 batters having another little chat as well. So I'm very surprised the umpires haven't stepped in here. There's been, as what I would call, what we call in England, a fair bit of faffing about.
Faffing, great word. A lot of faffing about, but it's all worth it for the 5 points of a win, I think.
Oh, he comes down, backs away and comes down the track, only able to get the single. So Pereira needs to survive the last ball of this over. Even if there's no run, it will mean that Marcellin is on strike, and he's 25 off 23 and has definitely looked to be aggressive and that the man who can take this home if possible. 18 required. Final ball of the 19th over. Pereira on strike. And tries to flick that, and it won't be the last ball of the over because that is another wide. 3rd wide. First 2 balls of the over were wides. And now Tong just losing his way again, straying down the leg side.
Yeah, captain must not be happy with that. 3 wides in the penultimate over is not what you're looking for as a bowler in the death overs. But All Saints Pythons will not be complaining one bit. It's getting them closer to that total they're looking for.
And just squirts that one straight to Richie Berrington fielding in the covers. So a dot ball to finish wasn't the most. It wasn't the most expensive over at all. So we'll pay that. But it could have been really, really tight if it wasn't for those 3 wides. And every run counts. Now, it did say if it got down to the last over and they only needed 15 or under. Well,
we are getting close to that total. It's really tight here. It's going to be really interesting. I'm actually quite excited to watch this. It's Marcellin on strike. Who on earth is going to bowl this last over with the... Yeah, it's a really interesting one. We don't know who's bowling it. There's a lot of conversation. And Marcellin with the wind.
I can tell you, Michael East is behind me calling for his Scotland captain, Richie Berrington, who hasn't bowled tonight. He reckons that he should be taking the ball. He's holding the ball at the moment, but he's not going to bowl it. That would have been a turn-up to come on and bowl the last over at that point.
Yeah, lots of conversations going to be had now between bowler and captain, working out what's going to be best.
Zidane Clark it is, bowled at the top. So he is going to take responsibility of this last over. A few final words from Berrington before he resumes his position in the field in the covers. And if we've had a lot of faffing, as we said, with fielding tweaks and everything else, I don't think that's going to stop for this last over.
Absolutely not.
But the Pythons do have their point man on strike. So Marcellin it is. 17 runs, 6 balls. And Marcellin, the man who's been able to find the gaps, find the boundaries, clear the boundaries. Oh, and he's down on one leg. He was again looking to employ the wind, send that deep behind square leg. But it's a dot ball to start with, so that is a good result for Zidane Clark and a good result for the Pythons. Well, not quite the Pythons, I've gone the other way now. Good result for the Blasters.
It's a great first ball, that. Again, dot ball there.
Terrific work by Zidane Clark. It's just his 3rd over, bowled 2 at the top, gave up 14 runs, but crucially has come back and 2 dot balls to start the last over.
And 2 really good Yorkers as well, keeping it nice and full out of that hitting arc. It's impressive first 2 balls. Let's see how he continues. A couple more field adjustments here, just to get the last few balls done.
All of a sudden, 17 runs required of 4 balls. And that's going to be 17 required off 3 now because there's another dot ball. Marcellin trying everything to open up the leg side and use that wind, but not being given the opportunity at the moment by Zidane Clark. Down on one knee again, but again no result.
Yeah, what an over this is so far. This is seriously impressive. Marcellin in a little bit of form and had just hit a monster of a 6, but Clark's come in and bowled 4 dot balls on the trot. So it's really, really going towards a Blasters victory here.
Yeah, I think unless we see another wide and no ball, They've left their run too late. Great bowling by Clark at the death. Goes for a bit of innovation, doesn't come off, and this is outstanding. Can't blame him for going for it. Little to lose. There's a little bit of back and forth now between Clark and Marcellin. But what an over this is. 5 dot balls. He could close it out with a maiden.
How good would that be? The perfect end to the game for the Blasters. Picking up their second victory of the tournament so far, but we have really seen it all in this game.
Say that again. Down the wicket, he misses, and he does close it out with a maiden. Zidane Clark, what an outstanding effort to come back at the death. It looked like it could possibly slip back towards the All Saints Pythons, the way that this chase was going, but that's brilliant work by Zidane Clark, who bowled at the top, came back at the death just when he was needed. And that is that for All Saints Pythons chase, and a much needed victory, a very welcome victory too for Bowen Blasters, who were in danger of slipping out of the race a little bit, and now...
Yeah, everything's kind of switched around here, and the pack has just completely got together even more in this table. Everyone now, I think that is at least 4 teams, if not 5 teams. Yeah, 4 teams, on 10 points. So it's going to be really tight. But yeah, as we say, that game has gone on for a good amount of time, lots of tinkering, lots of adjustments, but finally, Berlin Blasters have got over the line. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, it was good work by them early on. Richie Berrington making 38 off 33 and Kerry Mentor 28 off 20. So they really started the ball rolling, but then it was, I guess, really in the chase where their defence of that total of 136 came to the fore. And really, you have to pay a lot of credit to the bowling of Michael Harrell, who took 3 for 17 off his 4 overs. Kerry Mentor with 2 for 33. Morton Brown with 3 for 10. But let's not forget, he might not have taken any wickets, but Zidane Clark, he bowled 3 overs, gave up 14 runs in his first 2, bowled at the top, and then a maiden to finish. So, in the end, it was a well-deserved victory for the Boland Blasters, keeping themselves in the mix, winning by 16 runs over the All Saints Pythons.